Hi, everybody. DJ Yeagley with you for a very, very special edition of South Range Coach's Corner, presented to you by Joe Dickey Electric. Anything electrical, residential, and commercial. Make sure you give our friends over at Joe Dickey a phone call and tell them YSN sent you. I said it was very, very special, and here's why. Because we are joined at this time, as always, by Coach Dan Yeagley, but now his wonderful, beautiful bride, Kelli, is joining us here today. Something we've had in the works for 4 years, Coach, and we've never really pulled the trigger on it until now. A very special year calls for a very special Coach's Corner. Kelli, first, welcome. And my first question, we're going to go to Coach, but we'll get back to you about kind of the daily grind of a coach's wife and your relationship, obviously, with Dan. Coach, a huge win last week over a rival. We talked about it last week. The rivalry games are never easy. That one wasn't easy. It was a track meet for a while, and things kind of slowed down towards the second half. Did you expect that going into it?
Well, we talked earlier. I mean, it was crazy. You know, at first, when we talked about it might be a defensive ball game, it sort of started off that way, where all of a sudden, in and out, couple punts here or there, and everything else, and then all of a sudden, we scored, they scored, we scored, they scored, and it ended up being a track meet. It was crazy, but you know, emotions were running high because it is a rivalry game. It is the last one for a while until we meet again in the playoffs, and so there was a lot of emotions. I mean, it's two great programs. Coach Cusick does a fantastic job, and his kids always come ready to play. And this was his group. This was the group of seniors that they've been waiting for and been there for a long time. And matter of fact, it's like we said, it's the same group of kids we played against for the last 3-4 years. And it was a great battle. And what was great after the game, you know, the kids were shaking hands, hugging each other, because it was a great ball game against two good programs and a lot of good friends.
Yeah, you said something there, emotions in check. Is that one of the bigger challenges in a game like that, to keep both the sideline emotion in check and as well as the emotion in check on the field? Because they're going to want to give it on every play, and naturally, so are the other guys. But to be able to balance yourself for 4 quarters, was that a challenge on Saturday night?
It sure was. I mean, just to have the kids trying to stay focused. I mean, because there's a lot of things going on. I mean, it was a hard hitting ball game. I mean, it was a great ball game. And like I said, between two good programs that very successful for years and years. And it was tough. I mean, because they know each other. I mean, they played against each other all the way through Pee Wees on up, and not just football, but basketball and baseball and everything else. And it was tough to keep our emotions in check. And, you know, at halftime, we had to calm down a little bit. You know, we stopped their last drive right before the half, which was huge. And, you know, we had to calm down a little bit and make some adjustments because of some things they were doing. And again, my assistant coaches did a great job preparing the kids and making those adjustments at halftime and getting them ready for the second half. And a lot of those adjustments worked. I mean, we still gave up another touchdown, but a lot of those adjustments worked, and we got the ball in the end zone a couple more times. But as the game went on, our kids started getting a little bit more relaxed, started saying, okay, we can do this, we can play this. Okay, let's forget about the rivalry game and just play football. And they went back to start playing South Range football and started doing what we do. So very proud of the kids, so proud of them because they did a great job, and just fantastic win for the Raiders.
So with all due respect, given the fact that there was a victory there and two great teams playing each other, the most exciting part of the night for me, the highlight, and I think I'll never forget this, is looking down right after the game, right in front of the press box, and I see Kelli there, all bundled up and just cheering like you wouldn't believe, like shouts out, DJ! Oh, yeah. I look down, there she is, just smiling from ear to ear. Kelli, what was it like for you? I mean, you had gloves on, so I want to ask you if it's nail biters, but you can't get to it. I mean, games like that, it's difficult sometimes for a coach's wife, because sometimes you feel like you're in the same position that Coach Yeagley is.
Yeah, I am, and I want to win as much as he does, and I want to win for him. And I think these boys are such great boys this year that I want those boys to win.
What's crazy? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They deserve it.
Talk about the, I mean, the community has completely just for the last 20, I want to say 20, what is it, Coach? 25,
yeah.
25 years.
Yeah.
They've just absolutely wrapped their arms around both Coach Yeagley and you, Kelli. I mean, what has it been like for you to go over this wave of, I mean, you hear stories all the time and you've lived, I'm sure, a few nights of no sleep because of being a coach's wife. What is it like for you to be in a community like South Range that for the most part loves on you and cherishes you, and you can sit in those bleachers and feel comfortable knowing that you've surrounded yourself and you are surrounded by people that just appreciate what the sacrifice that you and your husband make?
Oh boy, it's hard to describe because it is so nice, and it's nice to have
The support.
Yeah, the support, and just knowing that they are in this with us as well. So,
and it is a community. I mean, the whole
and we
program,
grew up here, so
we know a lot of the people.
Yeah.
I mean, the people sitting in the stands are half the people that we went to school with. So, so I mean, it is awesome, and the community's accepted all of us, and that's fantastic.
It's fun to, even my classmates on Facebook have sent me messages this week. Tell Dan and the team I'm so proud of them.
What do you do whenever he's
in the game?
So last week, Coach and I talked about essentially how much film he watches. What are you doing whenever he's watching film?
I'm sitting on the sofa all by myself.
Oh. Cooper.
Yeah, we have our little dog, but it's quite boring without Dan. But I get about an hour, maybe an hour with him when he gets home from football. After we eat dinner, we always eat dinner at the table for the most part. That's where you eat dinner in front of the television, then you're not having your conversation. So.
Yeah, we eat dinner together and sit around and talk about the day, and
it's about an hour, and then I go, see ya.
See you later.
I don't know anything what that's like at all.
Like.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's just absolutely echoing in my head right now. So we'll get to a little bit of football, and then I want to talk about the love story. I want to talk about the one that I look up to so much because you're role models for a husband and wife and a father and mother and all of that combined. So I want to get into that a little bit. Let's get back to some X's and O's. Coach, this is a game that people have circled on their calendar. It's a matchup, and it's a very special one because for those who don't know, Kirtland and South Range will play 3 times in the matter of 4 days in three, technically 2 different sports, but 3 different areas: boys soccer, girls soccer, and in football, of course. Boys soccer getting the win last night or on Wednesday night, whenever you're viewing this, 2-1, double overtime, a gritty fight. The girls will play on Saturday before your game, and then you have the main event at 7 o'clock on YSN. Talk to me about this team. Obviously, we know they're good, but we're pretty darn special too, if I don't say so myself.
Yeah, we are, and it's exciting. We played them last year. I mean, you sort of, when we played them back in the mid 2000s, it was we got them once. They got us really bad the next year, and then they dropped down to D6 for a while. We were D5, and we missed each other throughout those years. And then last year playing them again, it was a good game. I mean, and I keep on telling the kids, I said, you don't realize the score didn't indicate how close the game was. It was 14-7 in the third quarter. I mean, they were up 14-7. It was a close game. We gave up a couple big runs, but once we settled down, we played with them, and we can play with them. They're no different than anybody that we played in the NE8 or through the playoffs. So the main difference between them and a lot of other teams is they believe. And we had a nice talk tonight about believing. Matter of fact, Coach Tressel even talked to our team tonight virtually and talked about believing and talked about how you gotta trust each other and you gotta believe in the guy sitting next to you, and how got to believe in the program. You got to believe in your teammates. You got to believe in your coaches. You got to believe, and that's something that we've been preaching all week. Because if you believe it, we can make it happen. We really can. And it's just I think you see our community, how special it is. You see it in, like I said, girls soccer, boys soccer, football, cross country's running the state meet this weekend as a team. And then you got Kirtland, boys soccer, girls soccer, football. It's the same. I mean, it's just two schools that believe in the programs, two schools that have great community support, two schools that are willing to put the time and the work in to make their school great. And I think that's a true testimony to South Range and Kirtland. Coach Laverty is a good friend, talk often, and it's exciting. I mean, he has a daughter playing on the girls soccer team. She's a senior this year. He has a boy playing on the football team who's a sophomore. So, I mean, he's committed also, and that's what you have to be. I mean, you have to be committed to the community and the school. And a lot of similarities between our two programs and our two school districts, and I think it's pretty special. And there's a reason why we're playing each other in all these sports, because it's the community, it's the support, and it's the programs, I should say.
So it's a little bit different this time around, though, because you haven't been the underdog necessarily, and I hate to even point to the Poland game as you as an underdog because you were at home. I thought that was two evenly matched teams, and it was probably if which sports betting not legal naturally, but it was probably an even push for both those teams. And given the tsunami, it was just whoever was going to put it out last or have the ball last, as they say. So my question to you is, having the favorite role all year up until this game for the most part, is it a little bit more fun to be the underdog?
We've been playing it. I mean, we've been, if they're going to put it out there, we're going to use it, so, but it's we've been having fun with it, knowing that, there's a reason they've won multiple state titles. I mean, we haven't been to that point yet. But there's a reason why they're the favorite. I mean, they were the favorite going into this season, even before we played any games. So, and that's okay. I mean, they deserve to be the favorite. I ranked them number one in our region when we did the seeding, because, even though they weren't number one in computer points or anything else, they were still the best team in the region. But, I mean, with that being said, do I think we can beat them? Yes, I believe that we can beat them. Our kids believe. I mean, we got to come out playing good from the very beginning on, and we got to give it our very best the whole game. And, anything can happen. I mean, anything can happen. And we told them, I said, you want to get your name, you want to put South Range. South Range is already on the map. You want to really put them on the map? You knock off the number one team. You knock off the state champ, the returning state champ. I guess what? You're going to be in the Columbus Dispatch. You're going to be in the Cincinnati Enquirer or whatever they have down there. You're going to be in every paper because everybody's going to know about it. I mean, people know about you already, but you're going to really get noticed. If you want to get noticed, this is how you do it. You beat the best. To be the best, you got to beat the best. And that's where we're going at it. So looking forward to it. And like I said, if we're the underdogs, that's okay. Because it depends on what locker room you're in, I think. So,
well, first off, I love the Ric Flair quote. I mean, you just etched another spot in my heart for you with the Ric Flair quote. Plant your flag. Yeah, plant. We talk a lot of times internally at YSN about planting your flag and knowing where to plant your flag and playing the underdog and the Rocky Balboa role. And I think this is a great opportunity for South Range. Everybody knows it's one of the best schools and best student athlete programs across the board in the Youngstown area. But this is another just level up to plant your flag against another good team, like you said. So obviously we're in your corner as we always are. We'll be there Saturday rooting you on with Charlie Bell and myself, and somehow Paul Munson got a ticket. So we'll be there.
You know somebody, I think.
Yeah, you might know a couple people. So, let's go to your story. Now, naturally, being a coach's wife, we've already gone over, can be tough. It can be challenging, but it can also be rewarding. Talk, Kelli, if you would, about how great it is sometimes to to see how the excitement, the level, and to have Dan, he doesn't do it a lot, but sometimes you get a little snippet that he gets to be a kid again on those sidelines. Talk about what that makes you feel and how it warms your heart.
Well, first of all, I know that he loves coaching in general. And so if that makes him happy, that makes me happy. So, and I'm very proud of him because he puts in an enormous amount of work. Enormous. I always say to him, can't somebody else do that? Can't somebody else do that?
Or does that sound familiar, DJ?
And so I'm just very proud. Very, very proud.
I couldn't do it without her, obviously. I mean, the support that she gives me is unbelievable, and gives me the freedom to do what I need to do. And
it's a give and take, and you
yes.
always have, I ask him every night, is there anything I can do for you? Is there anything I can do for you?
Yeah.
If I can grade papers one night while he's working on making up his practice schedule, then I'll grade papers.
Yep.
Whatever can make it easier for him.
That's right. Well, she's always
mathematician.
It's
no, I'm not a mathematician. It has
she
to be
is
multiple choice.
But she's been a blessing. I mean, my goodness, throughout the years, and we've talked about this before about being the rock of the family, and she's it because she brought up the boys and raised them right, and when I'm away and everything else. So it's like I said, she's a blessing. When I come home, dinner's ready, or sometimes it has to be reheated because I had to get stuck afterwards and stuff like that. But she shows patience. She has better patience than I do, and she has a lot of patience with me because sometimes there's not a time frame on coaching because sometimes coaching is a 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week job. And like I said, she understands that, and it was a lesson learned early. A lesson learned early, but
I know, and I really was. I know at first I said, "Oh, it would be nice if there was no football," but then I thought, well, that's very selfish of me, and I felt bad that I even said that because it's not about me; it's about Dan and mostly about the boys getting to play.
Right. It was
to be together. And
when we got together in June and we talked about this and how the kids came together, that told me, and I know nobody else got to see it, but that told me how special this season was to be able to be played because them getting together and being locked up for months and months and months and then coming together was special. And that's why that was the only normalcy they had going into the season. So this season's this season's been very special for them. And, we didn't know how it was going to turn out or what it was going to be, but it's all about the kids, and that's what makes it special. And like we talked about many times, DJ. It's you make it about the kids, great things are going to happen. Yeah. So that's what we try to do, and I know that's what you try to do too. And that's what's awesome. It really is. That's what's awesome.
It's funny. I always revert back to the golf outing this past. I want to say it was summer, man. It's just been a weird year. The Raider golf outing, and you two golfed together. And Kelli, we had a chance to talk on one of the holes while we were waiting to tee off.
I told you that I didn't want him to.
Well, you did, but
with me.
but that's the thing is, I mean, it's okay to be selfish sometimes, and Dan knows, and I know, and I'm not trying to play Dr. Phil or anything, but it's part of being, in love. And it's what's fantastic is how much you love each other and the partnership, you know what I mean? Because partnerships are tough, no matter if they're in business or in life. They're difficult because there's a lot of sacrifice, and there's a lot of coaches out there and coaches' wives right now that are watching and saying, yes, what she's saying. It's difficult to not be selfish because you want to support your significant other. But you said something that registered with me personally, and I took it home with me because there's a lot of times that I'm not home, and given our current circumstance, it changed me. I appreciate the time I have here more now that somebody else said it, and it probably would be different if my wife said it, but I just appreciate you two so much, and your role models to me and to my wife, and you know, doing things the right way and doing things for the right reasons. So my question to you, Kelli, is how do you do it? If you were giving advice to another coach's wife, or somebody who was looking to get into coaching, or a wife who was trying to find the footing for that, for an extended coaching career, what advice would you give them, and why?
Oh my. Oh boy, that's a very loaded question.
I know. I'm sorry. I told you softball. I just didn't tell you how fast the pitchers are coming.
If your husband loves it, yes, it's not going to be easy that he's home. It wasn't easy when the boys were little. As just support him. This season isn't all year long. It's just for a tiny bit. And my goodness, just to pray for your husband, and let your husband know that you have his back no matter what, win or lose. And that, I guess nobody knows the time that goes into it. I know that somebody asked me one time something about the time, and I said, you would never know, but it's only, like I said, it's only for a snippet, and then it's over. And so just support him and pray for him, and
Be patient.
Yeah, be patient.
You know, it was rough when we were in lockdown. You know, we're in lockdown for 3 months. Well, we didn't go anywhere because of our family situations and everything else. You know, my parents are still around and they're older, and Kelly's parents are still around and older, and you know, we have young grandchildren and another one on the way, and so it was we were in lockdown. I mean, we really did. We stayed away from people and everything else, so it was just us two. I think that made it hard going into the season also, because we were with each other 24/7 for 3 months, and then all of a sudden, then the season started, and then I was gone. So that was tough. But you know, yeah, we can all be selfish. I'd love to be home too, but I know that you know, God has a plan for me. God has a plan for all of us, and you know, his plan right now, I don't know what it is. I'm not asking him. I just know that he has something special, and you know, if it's be around the kids, then I'm going to be around the kids, and I know Kelly's going to support me no matter what. And she's been very supportive for years and years and years, and I couldn't have done it this long, or couldn't have done it even 1 year without her support, her love, and her being with me. So
I only, when we were first married, I only lit the candles once. And he didn't come home at 7:30. Yep. And I blew him out. And I was not mad. And I was very mad. And I remember that's the one time. And that's when I realized the commitment.
Yeah, I was an assistant coach, and we did many, many hours. I mean, you know, I told her I was coming home, and we had other plans at the office, so we didn't make it home. We got through that.
Yep.
And we got through it, and I know when I became a head coach, we adjusted some of those time schedules a little bit, because family is important. But it's wonderful having her by my side, and it's wonderful having her support. And you know, I can't thank her enough, or tell her how much I love her enough, because I couldn't do it without her. Really couldn't do it without her.
Love it. So we'll wrap this up. I've taken too much of your time, but I want to ask
you anything. You know that. I told you that before.
I want to ask you each one more question, because it's a tough one. It's one that oftentimes there's no definite answer to. But what is the trait that you admire most about the other person? As a, you know, coach, you know, we'll let you go first, because we know I'm just trying to buy Kelli some time is what I'm trying to do. But honestly,
oh boy, what about me?
You've done this too long. But I mean, I know you love each other with your entire heart. And again, I tell you all the time, not just here, but you know, off the mic is how much I think of both of you. So I'm anxious for the coaches out there, for all of us out there that just continue to look for that love each and every day. What's the thing that you admire most about your bride?
There's so many. Oh my goodness. I'm going through a list and trying to think the best one because there's so many, but I think about the sacrifices that she's given up for me, little things like that, and her selflessness, because she doesn't put herself first. Never. She never puts herself first. She always puts other people first. And she's so thoughtful and so caring and so kind to other people, not just to me. I mean, she would give anybody anything. She would do anything for anybody. And that's what, when we got married, that's something that when we were dating, that was something that was always very special because, it wasn't about her. It never was about her. It was always about the other person. And, she lifts me up every single day. My goodness, she's been a blessing to me over and over again. And just because of her kindness and, like I said, her thoughtfulness towards me. And like I said, never forget that. I'll never forget. It's awesome. And she's, she gives me too much credit and puts me too high sometimes. And sometimes I don't deserve everything that she gives me. But she spoils me rotten. She spoils me rotten, and I appreciate it. And love her to death. And she's, like I said, she's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful wife, mother, friend. Wonderful.
So now you understand why I didn't give you more time, because that was unbelievable, Dan. That was unbelievable.
It's like, oh my gosh, how can I top that?
You don't have to talk it.
Golly.
How about you, Kel? I mean, when you think about Dan, what do you admire the most?
He's the real deal. He really is. What you see, he's kind. Oh my goodness. This is so terrible. I'm saying oh dear.
Oh dear.
You are wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. I know he's saying all these things and it didn't let my mind. This is terrible, I'm rambling, but you are wonderful. And
thank you. Thank you.
Well, this is PG, all right? Let's keep it PG. No, yeah. the greatest love story that I know. I mean, it's incredible.
He's a true sweetheart. Really
it's true. It's true. No, I love it. And we love you guys so much. I wanted to make this special for you, something that you can have forever. So thank you for the time. The 30 minutes. It means the world to me. And we've been doing this for so long, Coach. And you were the first ever to do one of these. And I wanted to make it special whenever we did put a twist in it. And we talked about this a long time, and it just felt right. So thank you, Kelli, first off, for jumping on. I know it's not always your favorite place to be in front of the camera, but and thank you, Coach, for everything, and not just this.
Thank you.
Thank you, DJ. And my goodness, another twist we're gonna have to do is someday you're gonna have to get interviewed. You know that. It's your turn to be behind the mic sometime, the other side of the mic. So
I'm not good at that.
In a couple of years or something, we'll sit down and do that, because I think people need to hear your story, because you're very, very special also, and in many, many ways. And we love you to death, and I think people need to hear your story a little bit more, because you're sitting there behind the mic and you ask the questions. Sometimes you need to be answering those questions, because people will see how special you are, and how wonderful you are. And like I said, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Always. Well, to wrap it up, go get them on Saturday. We'll have a front row seat. Kelli, as always, hopefully you're somewhere near the press box, so I can have another moment like we did on Saturday, because that hit me right here. So, Coach, go get them. Good luck. Keep studying, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Looking forward to it, DJ. And thank you again for all you do for South Range. Really appreciate it.
Thank
And
you.
we always got to end. Go Raiders.
Go Raiders.